Hey there, Cohort B, welcome back. Glad to see you. Happy Tuesday. First of all, if you haven't filled out the Monday check-in yet, please head to Canvas and do that right off the top here. Want to make sure that we're all checked in and good to go, even though we are not meeting in the classroom today. All right, here's our usual beginning of the period slide. I want to point out, first of all, character cards do as always, but then also that your reflection for the why and the nobody's letter is due today as well. I'm realizing now that I didn't change the date on this slide, but yes, those are due today. Now, character goals. Let's get started. You can see here, I've got this quote. I always have a leadership quote of the day up top. It's Charles Duhigg from his book, The Power of Habit. And he says, champions don't do extraordinary things. They do ordinary things, but they do them without thinking, too fast for the other team to react. They follow the habits they've learned. And I started with this one for a couple of reasons. First of all, because it's true and I like it. And I think sports analogies are helpful. But also because at the end, he mentions an application as to how habits work in such a way in this very specific context of sports. And it's not just true in sports, but it's true in life as well. We follow the habits that we've learned. And the people who are really good at whatever they do, they follow those habits because they've practiced, right? We've talked about how practice is the key to building your character. And it's true for any sort of habit. This book is really powerful, and it talks about how roughly 80%, I think is the number, 80% of what we do on a day-to-day basis is the result of habits that we've built. Whether it's how many times we pound the snooze alarm in the morning. That's one of my habits. Maybe it's the specific order in which we do things in the morning, whether you take a shower and then brush your teeth and then eat breakfast and then whatever, right? It's the route that you walk from first period to third period to fifth period. It's where you sit for lunch, who you sit with, and what you eat. Those are all things that are results of our habits. I have a video to show you, and I believe I showed this to you earlier in the year, but I want to show it again as a reminder as we get closer to the end of our year and our character goals. So this is the concept of neuroplasticity. And here we go.
Not so long ago, many scientists believed that the brain did not change after childhood, that it was hardwired and fixed by the time we became adults. But recent advances in only the last decade now tell us that this is simply not true. The brain can and does change throughout our lives. It is adaptable, like plastic. Hence, neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. How does neuroplasticity work? If you think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid, there are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well-traveled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep traveling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action. The good news is that we all have the ability to learn and change by rewiring our brains. If you have ever changed a bad habit or thought about something differently, you have carved a new pathway in your brain and experienced neuroplasticity firsthand. With repeated and directed attention towards your desired change, you can rewire your brain.
There you go, neuroplasticity. And really, this is what we've been doing all year. Most of you have been in the class the entire year. And so you have been making character goals and working toward those for 36 weeks. Some of you even came earlier, and I kind of explained the idea at a little leadership training that we put together before the school year had even started. So you've been thinking about it even longer. But over 36 weeks, as you continue to train your brain and intentionally work towards serving others, intentionally work toward the 8 essentials, you really can make a difference in the way that you perceive things. You can make a difference in the way that your brain is wired. And our character goals are designed to get you toward that. In fact, I think honestly, the best character goal stem of the year, at least for me, the one that hits closest to this is the one where it was this week when I feel blank, I will respond by blank, right? Because you're thinking about situations you might be in, you're thinking about habits that you might have, and you are turning those and saying, I know this is going to happen. I know I'm going to be angry or frustrated or hungry or sad this week. And when that happens, here's what I'm going to do in response. And when we intentionally make that change, we are intentionally making that shift from unconscious and unskilled all the way through the stages to where we become unconscious and skilled, and our character is stronger and we make better choices. So, got a couple quotes for you here. One more from the book. He said, if you believe you can change, if you make it a habit, the change becomes real. I love this one from Ed Bliss. He said, the pursuit of excellence is gratifying and healthy. The pursuit of perfection is frustrating, neurotic, and a terrible waste of time. We can all get to some kind of excellence. Perfection is not attainable, right? And then finally, and I made this one big because this is my favorite one, it's commonly misattributed to Aristotle, which is why I had him on the first slide. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. And that's from philosopher Will Durant, as he is summarizing some of Aristotle's ideas. Now, any athlete can tell you that practicing your craft is what's going to make you excellent at that thing. Swinging the bat thousands of times is what makes you better at hitting the baseball, right? Taking 1,000 free throws is what makes you a better free throw shooter. And the same is true for the way that we train our brains to improve our character. The difference, though, is that only a very, very small percentage of high school athletes are ever going to be able to play that sport after high school. And the ones that do go on to college and are able to play in college, only a very, very tiny percentage of those athletes are going to be able to play professionally. After high school, you might never take a math class again in your life. You might never take a social studies class again in your life. You might never take a language class again in your life. But you know what? After high school, you're going to carry your character with you no matter what. And so what we've been doing is something that is hopefully building a habit within you, that you think intentionally about the thousands of choices that you make daily as you work toward building your character. Now, our goals this week. I have one more quote for you, and it's Dr. King. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? That has been on this slide every single time, and that has been on your character card every single time, because as we build our character, as we work toward excellence, we can't forget that we're in this thing to serve others. Okay. And so our goal stem this week is a really simple one. And that simplicity can make it hard, but it can also make it really meaningful. And it also really opens things up. For those of you who are leaving class office or leaving ASB, you can think of this as an ongoing goal, right? Maybe this is something that you select that is a going forward, right? A summer goal, a rest of the school year goal, a rest of my life goal, as the case may be. But for those of you who are continuing, it can be a weekly goal as well. So you can think about something you want to do this week, or you can think beyond that, and that's fine. You can think conceptually about that because, as you've already seen, spoiler alert, this is one that works for a week or it works for a lifetime. It's really simple, and here it is. At home and at school, every day I will. Okay. Every day I will. You know that as you switch your thumbs and choose against your selfish feelings, you have the opportunity to make choices that will help you build your character or not. And there are days where we're not at our best, and there are days that are really tough. But what are you going to try and do every day? That's what I want you to carry with you this week. As you write your goals for home and for school, every day I will. Might be every day this week, might be every day this month for the rest of the school year, might be every day through the summer, might be every day for the rest of your life. But whatever goal you decide to set, whatever time you decide to put on it, we will be talking about character goals in class next week. I will have new stems for you as we continue, but I thought it was appropriate to wrap it up a little bit here, as we are sending on our class officers and ASB execs from Tuesday mornings this week. Every day I will. Okay. Go ahead and write those goals. Pause this video if you need to, and I'll bring up the announcements in just a moment. If you would like to share your goals with a larger group, of course, we'll have the opening next week to talk about it as always. So keep that in mind. Also, feel free to message someone from the class, send me an email, or come up to me in the hallway and tell me what your goals are this week, and we'll hold you accountable. Okay, announcements for this week. Number one, our clothing drive continues. Thursday, Friday are the last turn-in days in advisory, so please remember to bring those in and support the Pacific Northwest Teen and Adult Challenge Rehab Facility. This week, we want to advertise that garage sale and advertise for prom. We've got some good posters up already, and a few more can go up, so thank you. Today was our last Tuesday morning for this year, and it is also our training with Scott Bakovich. So by the time you see this, you probably will have already been to one or both of those. And if you are one of our elected officers for next year, I am so excited to see you on Tuesday morning, June 1st, as we kick off this character goals season. All right. This is a video, so if there is anything for the good of the order that you would like me to put into the announcements for Thursday, Friday, or on Canvas, please feel free to email me, and I'll be happy to get that up. Thank you for taking the time to watch this and do what you need to do. I'll still be collecting character cards next week on Tuesday the 1st, as always. And as always, make it a great day. The choice is yours. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, folks.